Hey, welcome to
What's
Keep.
going
Hey,
on? What's going on?
going on?
We got a new look
Nothing
going
much. Nothing
on.
much.
How y'all
What's
doing
happening
tonight?
with you?
Doing
Doing
all
pretty
right.
good.
How y'all doing?
Doing all
I,
right.
I mean, this is a new format. They're gonna be looking at this. Is a new thing that we doing for times that we can't get to the studio, and other
Hmm.
times when we're out and about. And we're gonna be doing a lot of
Right.
virtual shows on location, different places. We can take
Yeah,
y'all with us. So this is our new look. So
That'll
awesome.
work. That'll
I
work.
yeah,
like it.
you guys look good. Feel like we
I'm
right.
looking at Jabari. You awake over there, Jabari? You sitting there like
Hey,
you can.
Jabbar. Jabbar just staring. What's up, man?
Oh, he might be stuck right now. That's what it is. He'll come back.
It's frozen.
I think you
Look,
froze.
I thought that was just his look on his face. I think he froze. What's
I
happening,
thought it was
everybody?
frozen.
What you got going on?
Hanging in
All
there.
right.
Another week. Another week.
Yes. Yes.
What's
Yes.
going on with you? What we talking about tonight?
Well, first, let me tell you guys what's going on.
All
So,
right.
of course, you know I'm getting to go on vacation again,
Uh
right?
You were on vacation last week. What?
huh. Stay on vacation.
You make it sound like
Stay
she been
on.
working hard. Well, you know I'm about to go on
She
vacation.
doing what I'm
You were
supposed
on
to be doing.
vacation last week.
But this is a family vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where
Um,
you going? Where you going?
I'm cruising to the Bahamas. Not the. I'm sorry, I'm not going to the Bahamas. I'm going to.
Cruising to Tarboro.
I'm headed to Belize, Ocho Rio, and
Nice.
yeah. So
Okay.
I'm
That's
just.
nice.
This is my last trip for the year. I'm going with my kids, family and friends are going.
Okay.
So
Okay.
looking forward to just being at peace. I just want some relaxation. All the other trips for purpose, like visiting family and doing other stuff. This
Right.
one is strictly relaxing.
I
Good.
got you. I got you.
Even
And when
though
you
it's
leave
a
for
night
that?
where we get together, but you know.
Good.
But other than that, I'm coming back. I'm looking forward to Christmas and New Year's, and then we got to come up with something. And this is our new look for the coming year when we're going on location and different things. So we got to do it big next year.
Right.
You guys gotta help me keep it going. So what you guys got going on before we get started? Houston,
Maurice.
I know you got something going on. You always have something going on.
Yeah,
Maurice.
I am taking off for the north for the Christmas holidays. So on the 24th, I'll be on a train, and I'll try to record it so y'all can see what I'm doing, or what I will be doing. But
Okay.
for the Christmas holidays, I'm going to take a train up to New York City,
Oh wow, so
and
you going where it's
the
cold?
yeah, the original plan is for Christmas Day to have to go to Serendipity 3, because they have that Sunday, that Golden Opulence Sunday, but it's such a big demand for it that they're not going to have it. And so I had to change course and eat at a British um,
British.
pub and tavern, a British tavern, so that I can have a traditional English dinner. So after that, on the 26th, I am taking the train down to Oxon Hill down in Maryland and hang out at MGM and DC for the New Year's, and then
Okay. Okay.
head on back to Gville.
All of his vacations are a field trip experience. Like there's gonna be lesson learned or something
Yeah.
discovered
Hey,
every
ain't mad
time.
at you. You got to start recording this so we make a show out of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna definitely do that.
You did get some clips when you went down south, right?
Oh yeah, I always videotape everything I do when I go, on those. But the train, I'm really getting into this train thing now.
Me too. I wanted to start taking the train.
Yeah, those nice private cars are really off the chain. The food is good, the meals are great, the services are great, and the view when you're sitting there and you're just looking out the window and you're going, it's just outstanding. It's first class all the way.
Oh, good, good.
Okay, I came up with an idea just from that right there. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Okay,
What kind of idea you got? I like where you going. Wait, what we doing?
keeping it 100 on the train. We're gonna take a trip somewhere.
I like.
If we can get a
Great
a little
idea.
private car, you know, if we can
Absolutely.
get something like that,
And you
we can
can. And you can do that because a couple of times I've ridden on the train, they would have a birthday. There'd be a group having a birthday party um, on the train, and they invite you. You know, those who are having a private car, they'll knock on your door and says, "Hey, we're having a birthday party. Would you like?" You know,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, you can definitely do that. And this group, they did theirs all the way from New York, Penn Station to Miami.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
We might try to plan something that even if it's
Y'all
a
talking
short
about
one.
me.
that'd be great.
What?
You talking about me going on vacation? Yeah, y'all want to go on vacation and work at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Working
That way you
vacations
can use
can't
it as
be.
a tax write-off later.
Yep.
You can use it as a tax write-off. There you go. There you go. But nah, everything's good on my end. Like you said, I'm always up to something, doing something. Right now, I'm pretty excited about, with the marketing firm. We kind of closed a little small deal with a place called Nick and Mike's Bar and Grill out of South Carolina,
Okay.
and we're doing like some little mini social media commercials for them. And I'm planning to go down hopefully in January and do a show. So I might try to figure out, if we can all plan to ride down, whoever wants to. And I'm gonna
You
let
know
him
I'm
know I'm
down.
gonna do a show in
I'm
his,
always
in the
down.
restaurant. So what now?
I'm always down. You already know
Okay.
that.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah. I might see if I can get everybody a part of the commercial because I'm gonna be shooting a commercial while I'm down there. So we're gonna have some fun with it.
Sounds good.
We're gonna have some fun with it.
I like.
Yep.
Jabbar, you got anything going on coming up?
Nah, not coming up. We just had the party this past weekend for our mother-in-law.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Let me tell y'all, they did it.
Oh yeah, we did the thing.
They did it.
Good thing.
They did it.
It's all right.
Look, they threw the party at their house, right?
Mhm.
And I had church the next morning, so I'm like, I'm gonna go, and I think I'm delayed. Can y'all hear me?
No, we got you.
Hear you.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
The video's delayed. Is it
That
delayed?
look like it's on time. It
Okay.
look like
No,
it's on time.
it's slightly delayed, but we'll get you. It'll catch
Okay.
up.
Well, I went to the party, right? And I got there, I could hear the music down the street. And I stayed for about an hour and I left. I said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to relax for a little while, and then come and get my son because he was DJing. And by the way, he did a fantastic job.
For sure.
But I left, came back to the house, and went back to the party.
There you go.
And stayed the rest of the night.
See, that's when it's a good party. I believe, but you got to find your way back.
Hey, I struggled all Sunday, all day Sunday, till I got back home. When I got back home, I think I walked through the door, past the stairs. I even went to the guest room and laid down because I didn't make it to the upstairs. That's how tired I was. So we had a great time. Jabbar, y'all did that. I'm beyond proud of y'all. Mama been talking about it forever. So it was her 71st birthday.
Nice. That's
all
good.
Right. That's
Great.
Nice.
It was great.
That's nice.
But I know it's Freestyle Thursday and we bring our own topics or whatever, what we want to talk about. And you might want to go first. I got one.
Go ahead.
Class project.
I got one. We talk a lot, and I want you guys to chime in for you guys, your own perspective. But the more I look at social media, nobody has accountability on anything anymore. There is no accountability, especially relationships. I don't know if you saw the video of the girl who it's a reality TV show.
Okay.
She says to the guy, I guess they were dating on the show, and she says, "Look, I'm done. I'm tired of the situation. You're not giving me what I need, and so I'm just going to call it quits now, and I'm walking away."
I think I've seen this.
He said, okay, that's how you feel.
I saw that.
Gets mad and says, that's all you gotta say? You ain't gonna fight? You know, and I'm like,
you ain't gonna fight for it. That's
yeah.
all you gonna do.
But I'm confused as to if you ask for something, and women, and that's what I'm talking about accountability. Women a lot of times have zero accountability in the way they maneuver in relationships.
I'm glad. Hey, look, you said it, and
That's what I was gonna
I'm
say.
just
You
glad
said
that
it.
you said it. Yeah,
I'm just saying because and
you keeping
I've
it
done it.
real. You keeping it
I've
real.
done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've broken up with someone
Mm-hmm.
to shock them into, oh my
Doing
God,
what you wanted.
please don't leave me. You know, and for you to get that affection, like, don't leave me, I need you, I want you, you know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So when she did it, I'm like, I've done that. But how dumb is that?
Mm-hmm.
See, but here's the thing. A lot of times, men, we don't know that that's what you're doing. You know, I think we're older
You
now
guys
and
are
we pick
very
up on it.
matter of fact.
Right. So when he say, "Oh, okay," that's the last thing she was expecting him to say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people will still go through with it because we're gonna break up. But I want you to beg for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, baby, don't do that. I really want you. I really want you. See, I knew he was gonna be sorry. And they still really want to walk away. But when he goes, okay, you know, hey, if you
You get
made up your
mad.
mind, now they trying to figure out. See,
Yeah.
I knew that you didn't want me no way because you ain't
Yeah.
fighting for it. That's
But
not the case.
but let me tell you now. I'm talking about the women. I'm gonna hope that you guys keep it 100 about dudes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we have this.
Maybe.
It's a manipulation that we use. The emotion, the crying, the upset, because in our world, the men are supposed to fix it. They're supposed to come and be our knight in shining armor, you know. And then when you put yourself in that space, and then they do not come and reciprocate what you think they should, then you get mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, women, stop doing that. If you
Well,
don't and this is where a lot of communication should come in. If you don't want to be with him anymore, then that's fine. But if all you want to do is, and I think women have this concept of men need to be shocked into understanding what they're doing to the women. And I had to come to the realization that I'm sorry, but they already know what they're doing. If he's not coming home, he's not coming home because he doesn't want to come home.
right.
You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
he's not being affectionate towards you and you mention this to him and he's still not doing it, it's because he doesn't want to do it. And we want to convince a man to do what we think they should be doing.
What is the what is the word that they use for chivalry? Chivalry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The great philosopher Dave Chappelle said that chivalry is dead, and he said women killed it. you know,
Yeah.
and the thing about it is when you look at this thing called chivalry and the
Mm-hmm.
problems and stuff that blacks are going through nowadays. You know, this wasn't us prior. I'm sorry, even prior to slavery and even after slavery. That wasn't us.
No.
We weren't like that. This stuff started coming into play more after the women's rights movements and everything. Once the women's rights movements came into play, then all of a sudden we're doing the same thing that they're doing, and we're not doing our own thing. So now it's gotten worse.
Oh yeah, because it's, to me, when there's nothing wrong with women's rights, the right to vote, the right to be a part of society the same way everybody else is. I have no problem with that. I think they just took it from a rights perspective to a
Everything perspective.
everything. Yeah, like you don't have to
Right.
open my door. What?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can take care of myself.
She can open up her own door, right?
But now, and I
Or-
will say, I had someone say, "Well, I don't do this, this, and this because you do it yourself."
I told my daughter. I told my daughters.
Huh?
I told my daughters. I says, "Hey, look." I says, "Don't wait for a guy, okay? For the guy who you're with to open the door." I says, "And if he's the guy that's coming to open up your door, to let you in the car or to to open up the door for you, that ain't the guy you want to be with. Get with the guy that's got a guy opening up his door. You know what I'm saying? Hook up with a Jay-Z type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
No, I wanna
You'll
admit,
be all right."
It takes a minute to get to that
I'm gonna give you some
level.
pushback on that in a second.
It takes a minute to get to that level.
Right,
and
right,
I understand, but when you have men who are working towards having their own, I have seen women leave men who were starting their own thing because they didn't keep the 9 to 5 or whatever. And I'm personally, if you can make 60,000 on your own, I don't care if your job was paying you 120.
Right.
You punching your own clock at 60.
Right.
Right. And so I had a guy tell me that, and I said the reason why I do is because I didn't have a man who was taking care of those issues that for me. So I had to become that woman that took care of herself. Now I don't mind relinquishing that responsibility to somebody else, but you need to be accountable enough that if I relinquish that right to you, you're not going to drop the ball.
I get it.
I want security.
I get it. But now here's the thing. Everybody's security is not the same.
No.
And I'm not saying that, he needs to make sure he picks up the ball and run with it. Let me go back to what Maurice said and kind of bring it back to what you're saying. I understand what Maurice is trying to say, and he said it. The reason why I'm picking back on him is because I think coming from a dad, it might make sense that you want her to find a good man, a man that's trying to do some things. But along the way, if you here's where the problem comes in. If you can find a man when you're young that's trying to get there, you have something. Because if you wait till he already there and he's got that, sometimes he may not be looking for you because he feel like he's got enough money to look for whatever he wants.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
You already know when. I don't have a problem with men who have their own. Of course, that's every woman's dream to find a millionaire and take care of, Right. But the problem I have is the guys that I have met that have their own money, they have an air about them as if I should be grateful to be with someone who has money.
Yeah.
And I had to let him know, first of all, your money don't impress me.
Right.
That's number one. Your fancy $200,000, $300,000 car don't impress me because I'm a girl who grew up in the country. My Dodge Charger to me is sexier than your car is.
Yeah,
that's just me, And I don't need you to think that you can parade me like I'm not a showpiece.
Right.
So it's like when you with a guy and he makes it with you or you help him achieve it, two sides to the story. Either you guys are gonna, bond together and you're gonna keep growing, or sometimes one or the other one gets a big head.
Mhm.
Right.
They did this and they did that, and then that breaks the relationship.
But a lot of
Yeah,
times,
it's
go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Maurice.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, it's rare that you come across that where you got two people that are, working together and they both, get to where, but it's more when you see a guy that has his own and she doesn't have hers, or she has more and he's, um, not up in front. He's still, lagging behind, because of, well, society may be a hindrance or whatever the case may
Mm.
be. But it's not just about the money and everything. It's not just about the money. It's about the experience of life, also the things that um, he may accomplish or the things that he
Mm.
may do, the things that he has to offer as far as knowledge is concerned. Because to me, knowledge is everything. Is more
Everything.
precious than money. And if you have the knowledge, like say for example, stuff to give to her to help her move along. He may not have all the money in the world, but he has knowledge. He's got game.
He got
He can
contacts. He
even
knows how
teach.
to do this. And
Right.
that's what's important. People
It
want
is.
that
Yeah.
money. I have seen celebrities on interviews and social media
Yeah.
who are, they got $100 million, $30 million, whatever. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you don't have enough money in the bank for me to
Yeah. I
talk
know.
to
Right.
you.
Hmm.
Just your
Hmm.
conversation alone, you don't have enough money. There's no way I would
Hmm.
talk to you ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you don't even have knowledge of who you are, where you came from, at least a little bit,
Hmm.
and want the opportunity to learn more, we can't be together. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Because I know growing up, I thought money was everything. I thought
Mhm.
based on what I saw and the people I hung around with, the people I went to school with, and the people that I saw that were old, people that were a lot older than I was in the neighborhoods or what have you, even in the churches, it was all about money. It was all about who had the money, who had uh, the nice cars and stuff like that. You ain't got this and everything. He does, and so it was always stuff like that. And I thought that money was everything until I got older. And when I started having money, I realized I started seeing how uh, people would react. Females that I was with, how they would react. It was like, yeah, you got money, but this person's got more, and
Yep.
there was something missing. And what was
It's
missing
always the
was
next
the
biggest,
knowledge.
better thing. Yeah.
Right. What was missing was the knowledge. And finally that thing that Fred Sanford said years ago, a fool and his money are soon parted. I really it hit me then, that
It happens. It's real. It's
yeah,
real.
it mhm.
It's real.
So that's in the end it's basically the knowledge that you have in the game that you got to that you would want, for your daughter or your grandkids or what have you, the same type of game that you would have. I learned a lot in these years and everything, and found that yeah, the money's good, but the knowledge is so much better and
Yeah.
everything. So that's what I try to push on them.
I did a little experiment when I was in Germany. I'm sorry, I was in Germany. I was in Fort Hood,
Hmm.
and I had on, what they call them now, the baddies or whatever. I had that dress on. I went to the club, and it's like, me and your girlfriends go out, and you see how many dudes gonna hit you up, and numbers and everything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and then one day I'm like, I keep getting hit on by the same tired dudes that didn't have anything. They took all their money and threw it into an expensive car.
Hmm.
They had to rush to the club to get in, to get there by 9 to get the stamp for free, so they wouldn't have to pay to get in.
But you
Right?
know why?
Why?
Because they already know that most of the women they're gonna try to hit that night or over the course of the weekend, all they looking at is who's in the club, who's got the nice car, and who's got the nice shoes, who's spending a little money. And by the
Exactly.
time they get done with them on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
or after about a month, because it might take them a couple of weekends to be seen before all the certain women are on them, they already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's guys right now that we know, back in the day, there were guys that used to come from Greenville that would drive to Raleigh, get a hotel, a nice hotel, and they driving the 300 or whatever, the car that was the hot car right then,
Mm-hmm.
and they were up here killing the game because the women saw them weekend after weekend, but then they would drive back home to their mama house
Yeah.
and work all week. And work all week.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking a trailer or anything, but then they had a car that was more expensive than the trailer they were staying in.
That irks
That's-
me when I
But
say
it doesn't matter
that
because by the
irks me.
time you figured it out, they done had folks been over and knocking stuff down here in Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro.
Yeah.
And then they come back home and work 40, 50 hours
Mm-hmm.
and then drive back the next weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's all that was important to them.
Well, and I'm trying to instill in my daughter the same thing. Like when I would go to the clubs, I put on this black bodycon dress back in the day, went to the club, same dudes hitting you up, right? And so something said, just try something different next
I was
weekend.
about to mention that, but go ahead.
So next weekend I came and I had on now it was still, I made sure it was still sexy, but it was a pinstripe, blue and white pinstripe suit. Hair was done, makeup was done. But the guys that approached me were totally different.
Yeah.
I had the sergeants and the ones that weren't supposed to be with the enlisted. I had sergeants and the first sergeants and the lieutenants, or the ones with a little money. Those were the ones that came to approach me because the other guys felt like I was too high maintenance, or they couldn't afford to talk to me.
Well, not for the weekend.
No.
That's the difference. And we can keep it, we can keep it real. We know that when we go to the club, if I see that girl over there with the short skirt on, if she just bend a little bit, I might be able to see a little something. I already know if she got that on, she's more likely to let me do something with her more so than the one over here that's got the little nice dress on with the flower.
Yeah.
Now that's just straight looking. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but how they say the low hanging fruit. If you look the part,
and I had to, when I came from, now I always, I would have on the nice dresses, the not short like you talking about, but what I'm saying, the club dresses or whatever. But I always made sure I carry myself a certain way. And so depending on how you came and approached me, that got you shot down from the beginning.
Right.
You really have to kind of set a standard and stick to it. And so I'm trying to tell her because, she's in that age now where she's going to start dating. And I want to be able to, I don't want her to fall for the same idiots that
But now that was a learning experience. I'm not saying that you want her to do that because you're going to teach you differently. But you wore it because you knew somebody else that wore it and got attention.
Exactly.
And so, it's going to follow the same suit, but you're trying to teach her early not to be that way.
Right.
And it's like I try to teach my son and the young men that I'm around, look, be careful of the kind of women that you try to choose because, it might be easy. Yeah, she might be down to do a whole lot of stuff to make you feel great, but that's the same one that might end up pregnant that you got to deal with
for the rest of your life.
The rest of your life.
Yes.
And then when she have another baby daddy outside of you, now you got to deal with him when you go get your son or daughter. Yep. So that whole hood mentality because of a one night or weekend or a couple of months that you have with this particular person. I get it because I've been there and done that. I just thank God unless somebody come up now with a 40-year-old daughter, I don't have to, 25-year-old daughter. I didn't have that. issue.
When I say when I first saw condoms in my son's room, I felt some type of way. And now I'm like, if I don't see them, I'm like, wait a minute, you need to go to the store. I'm gonna need you to keep them on you at all times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I told
Yeah.
my daughters that when they were 12, I told them that. I said, kids do things. I says, and so I'm not going to be around you 24 hours, 7 days a week. And there's going to be that time where there's this guy that, going to be like, come on, come on, come on. Don't expect him to pull that condom out. You pull yours out. Give him two and everything. If you have to, if you really feel that you got to give it to this guy. And this is not to condone you having sex at such a young age. It's basically saying, watch out for yourself, because you can't sit here and blame him and everything. I mean,
Right.
he could, it ain't just about a baby that he can give you. He can give you something else that you can't get rid of.
Right.
And so,
Exactly.
you want to be prepared. So I started telling both girls this when they were 12, and yeah, they were in shock, but it was good. It was good to get that shock
Well, the world
out
is
of them.
shocking them right now. The world is
You know?
shocking them now because they're sexualizing our kids now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In school.
And then I gave them a book to read. Now, most people throw the Bible in their kids' hands. I don't do that. Instead, I gave them this book and made them read this. I've had this book since 1993.
We can tell.
Now, yeah, you can see it's got pages falling out of it. And
But
then
now,
there's
the
another
book-
one. Yeah.
What's
Then
the
there's
title again?
the title.
The Black Man's Guide.
Yeah,
to
I got a
Understanding Black
question.
Women.
Stop. Got a
That
question.
book need to be about 1,000 more pages.
No. I got a
They got
on
another
there.
book. They got another book.
Who
They got-
wrote the book? Who wrote the
They
book?
got Shahrazad. Her name is Shahrazad Ali.
Oh, it's a
but
female.
And a woman wrote.
Yeah, it's a female. And you know what? She
That was
wrote
my thing.
she
I was
wrote
waiting
another
for
book.
a man to write that book.
Where she wrote another book. She wrote another book that is the reversal. Is called the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. Now, it's a green book. It's green in color, and this one's yellow. So she made it easy for you to understand, which one to get. But if you was to ask me, I read both books, and of course, I let my son and made sure my son and my daughters read both books. But I can tell you this right now: it's like the yellow book, The Black Man's Guide, was more for women to read. It was more for them to look at and read and understand. Whereas the green book was the opposite, if that makes any sense, because it basically spoke to you on how to and what is actually happening and everything. And they're good. It's a good read.
I'm gonna ask Jabbar. Jabbar, have you read that book?
No, I said I gotta get it. I'm gonna look into it.
I'm shocked. Like I'm
gonna look it up.
I'm
I'm on audio book.
read everything.
It's a good
We might
book.
have to do a show on that book.
She and I used her books in college for papers. A lot of when I went through psychology, and a lot of my classes I was using her book as references. A few of her books in that. Even when she was a commentator on CNN, and I think they had her on Fox a few times too. I would use that also, but she. She's had a dynamic life, for someone that had, I think she had over 12 kids, 17 kids or whatever, married to the same man, all those years from young up. She was Muslim. She wrote the book. This is what really blew me away. She wrote the book. She edited the book herself. She bought the publishing machine to publish the book herself, did the cover and all that, took the books out there on the sidewalks there in New York City and set up a table and would sell her books that way. She cut out the middleman totally. And it wasn't until white people started reading her book, because, most black folks wasn't thinking about it. when they didn't think about it until white folks started reading it, and then the white folks read. She wrote in there about open hand, about a hitting uh, your woman if she steps out of line or something to that fact, which I disagree with. Don't get me wrong. Every book I read, there's some things that I disagree with.
I
That's
think
in
what
the
it
That's
There's
goes
book.
all
like.
always there's some things I agree and there's some things I disagree. I
That's in
don't
the
agree with
book.
putting hands on a woman. Hell, I don't even agree putting hands on a man. But I don't agree with a man putting his hands on a woman that's just, or a woman putting her hands on a man that's just not me. But there was a lot of the rest of the book was right on point about
So
about a
she
whole lot
said
of
that.
stuff.
She said that.
Yeah, she said, she literally said in the book, she says that her mouth, and she's talking about black women. She says her mouth can be
Mhm.
her ruin. Her mouth can take her over the line, and sometimes if she steps over the line with her mouth and everything, sometimes you may have to give her an open hand slap to the mouth. That's what she wrote, and I was like, well, I disagree with that. If a woman's mouth is overbearing and you can't deal with it, turn around and walk out. Leave that. It's toxic.
Exactly.
There's no need to hit her.
Exactly.
Just walk away.
Look, look,
So
I totally agree. I totally
I
agree.
I can't. I can't. When I say open hands, yeah, we not doing that. That's
No,
just
oh, look,
and I know
no
now.
type of
See, for
assault is
me,
good. Yeah,
for
Look,
me,
here's the deal. Here's the deal with that, Ursula. You're totally right. Everybody need to keep the hands to themselves.
that's right.
But you know, back in the day, the reason why people really didn't get all irate like they do with each other now is
mhm.
because the possibility of getting slapped in the mouth.
That
Well,
too.
Let's
That
just keep
too.
it
Yeah,
100.
you forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, back in the day, they knew that Uncle James might slap Aunt Mary if
Hmm.
she started going, because Aunt Mary wouldn't do but so much because she already know of the fear of, not that he would hit her a lot or do it
but then,
at
but then,
all,
but then
but
Aunt
he if
Mary
he
started boiling hot grits.
everybody ain't boiling hot grits because
Nope.
see,
Same.
Aunt Mary will realize maybe I need to tone this down.
Well, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
say this: now the one thing about me that I can say for myself is I know that once you say something, you can't take it back.
Hmm.
So even in an argument, I'm very careful of how I argue, especially with people in my circle, people that I care about, my family, my friends. But now, if I don't know you,
Right.
then my mouth can get reckless.
But see, here's the thing.
But
Okay.
I do not. I think that when you argue with somebody that you care about, just to say something just because you're mad to get that reaction, to let them know how mad you are, is a mistake. Because even after everything is said and done, it's hard to put those take that out his ear
So
or out her
let's take this. Let's take you out of the equation.
ear. Okay.
Do you not know women that will run their mouth to their man because they hot and
Oh,
mad?
Yeah.
let me tell you something.
So, and the
Half of
reason
my
why I said that,
girlfriends,
and the
half of
reason
my
why I said that
girlfriends,
is because you said that you won't. Now, and would you say you've always been that way, or you just learned over time? I don't need to say anything.
I've never been the type to
Right.
try to
Because see, there's a lot of people
hurt
that are
somebody's
different.
feelings
Right.
or to tear them down, especially if I'm like my friends, my family, things like that.
Right.
Never.
See, but see, some people will try their best to get back at that man. He might have stayed out all night. He might have done whatever. He might have disrespected you some kind of way. I
It's
get
when
it.
you clink clink.
Hmm.
You know, I get it. I get it. Whatever the case may be. But if he's done something like that and you fussing with him, that's one thing.
Oh yeah,
But when
fussing.
but when it gets to the point of he like, look now, you're doing too much, da 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 da, and you still want to keep going,
Hmm.
and then and then he try to walk away, and you tell me, well, that's why you so now see you
Yeah.
escalating it. That's
I've
that
never
type of
said
stuff
that because
that you never
one
said.
thing.
I'm saying
No, I'm saying that to me is over the line.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will say when my flaw is.
Mm-hmm.
I won't call you out your name, right? But depending on how pissed off I am,
Clean it up now. Keep it 100.
depending on how the conversation is going, because some guys tend to flip the script and want to, even though they're wrong, they want to get in your face and be like, trying to assert dominance. That don't
Right.
work for me. And I had to tone it back because getting so mad, I'm gonna swing on you. That was
See, but that's the thing.
that
If
was
you
that was
swing,
that was a long time ago though.
I get it. But that's the thing. If you swing, it ain't the same swing when it come back.
Oh, trust me. Let's clear something. Let's clear something up. Let's clear something up. I have I've only hit one man in my life first.
Right.
That was the guy I was married to. And it wasn't
Right.
no punch to the face or anything like that. It was more like a shove or a punch to the chest.
Right.
Now, I've had guys I've dated, two guys I dated
Mm-hmm.
that wanted to put their hands on me.
Right.
Open hand slap to the mouth. I've had that.
Right.
He also got a baseball bat in return.
But see that's the difference. It shouldn't get to that point, but it will.
No. I tried to walk away.
Right.
I got snatched back by my ponytail.
Right. So when you got free from the ponytail, when did the bat come into play?
Because, okay, some guy, hey, how you doing? You look good at the club. I was in that club 5 minutes. Right. And I said, well, thank you and everything. Well, you got a man? Yeah, I got a man. We're here together. That was a whole gist of the conversation, word for word. Mm-hmm. Got back to the table. Let's go. He's mad. He's been drinking. Mm-hmm. Get back to the room. I turn around. I taking my shoes off. I turn around and he just slaps me. Right. Left a handprint on my face.
Right.
I'm in shock. Like total. Tears are running down my face, burning. I put my shoes back on. I got ready to walk away. Right? This is after I had matured a little bit. I walked away. Right. He snatched me back and started cursing at me. And something snapped on the inside, like, oh, you trying to, like you gonna man.
Yeah, he's trying to break you. Yeah, he's trying to break you. Yeah, he was trying to break you.
But see, had I let that continue, what would have happened next time?
Mm-hmm. Well, now see, the thing of it is, like you said, it wasn't supposed to be a next time. Because once he slapped you, once he slapped you, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm just saying now, I'm being the couch quarterback because it wouldn't happen this way. Oh my God, you should be like, if I get out of here, I'm done. But oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And then you need to find your way out. I'm telling any girl right now, if that happens, you're gonna have to go with the situation to calm it down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get in your feminine.
That
I'm gonna keep it real. Get in your feminine and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Let's not.
You gotta play
like
that role
and stay away.
Get out of there. Yeah. Because what he was trying to do was to break you. Because was that his first time ever put his hands on you?
Very first time. We hadn't even been dating. We've been dating less than 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the ground to break that. Because see, for him, and to me, from a male standpoint, if that happened, what he should have done was take your tail home and been done with you. And then if y'all come back together, because if you were saying more stuff, then you would have been like, oh no, he don't play when it comes to that stuff.
But see, and the thing was, the conversation literally lasted about 10 seconds.
But it don't matter, because if we'll make up, man or woman, we'll make up anything. That conversation with 30 seconds, minute, in our mind.
See the importance?
I told the thing with him was he wanted to have a woman that he could control.
I get it.
I just wasn't raised that way. And so when I saw that he wanted to physically hurt me, and I could have got up and ran out the door, but when he threw me back, it put me
Right.
like, okay, you trying to really, you want to fight me or you
Right.
want to hurt me. So
Right.
that's when I grabbed his bat and I got to swinging.
I get it.
Mm.
I'm
The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
which was dumb because he said, "Oh, you can't do anything with that bat." Like you really want to fight me as a female,
right. Right.
but when a lot of women, and I'm one of them, that you get to the certain point, you're at a certain anger level, common sense go out the window.
Well, I mean, now let's keep it 100. You make it seem like I'm one of those type female. All of y'all can get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Every single one
Very
of you,
true. Very
every
true.
single person, man and female, can get
Mm-hmm.
to that point. Because I've seen some people that have had their stuff together, organized.
Mm-hmm.
Remember with that astronaut, female astronaut, when she found out that her boyfriend, her guy she was dating, was seeing someone else, and she put a pamper on, drove from
Yeah.
Texas to Atlanta or Florida to go get this man. And she put a pamper on because she didn't want to stop. You gonna tell me that ain't some craziness?
That's
You
crazy.
talking about that doctor? She's got short hair.
I
What was
can't
her
remember.
name?
This is what she looked like, but she
Yeah, I
didn't
knew
really
what
But
she
she
have
went
looked
to
to
go
like.
stop.
kill him. She went to go
Yeah.
kill him. You have a degree in engineering, mathematical, whatever.
Yeah, what was her name?
But when you get hot and heated, some people can't quit. How you gonna bust windows out of somebody's car when you know that insurance gonna come after you? The police
Exactly.
department gonna come after you.
And see, and
The,
that's the one thing about being in a domestic relationship. I'm not going to do anything. I love my freedom.
mm-hmm.
However, I will go to extreme measures to protect myself.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna go, and I used to hide the bushes trying to find out what you're doing. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm too grown for that.
Well, you're older now, but you did it.
I did it.
I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong because people
I
have
did
done it.
it.
Men, we've done it. We've gotten in the car and drove over to go see if somebody was where they said they were going to be. We might have been young when we did it. Not all
Mm-hmm.
men do it. Not all women do it. But a
Mm-hmm.
majority of us have done something of that nature.
So
Yeah.
since you admitting to that, I'm gonna
Or
ask.
or have paid for someone else to be in the bushes to do that. I've done that. I've paid someone to be in the bushes to see if she was doing what she was supposed to be
Right,
doing or not, whatever the case may be.
The
So
right.
difference
yeah.
between men and women, so you guys will trust another person to give you that information.
Mm-hmm.
A woman won't firsthand knowledge. She's gonna do that herself.
Well,
So
see, now,
Well,
if you pay a private detective who takes pictures and stuff like that, then where you
he's
on
taking it to
point.
another level. He's taking it to the level of I need information so I can get rid of whatever I'm getting
That's
into.
right, and it worked for me.
very true, very true. But women work on emotion.
Right,
Mhm.
Now,
right,
me personally, I've had situations where I stopped thinking in that personal aspect and I started thinking more of strategically.
Mhm.
right,
That's when you go and you hire somebody, which I didn't have the money to hire anybody.
right.
So I had to do it myself,
Mhm.
and I'm heck with a computer
You
and
you
all.
started thinking logically is what ended up happening. And the majority of time, women do not think logically in the
No,
beginning.
not when
They
it comes
only
to
think
emotion.
emotionally. Yeah, they go straight to the emotion because you know you got to look at who we're teaching us for the past in the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. You know, the first teacher of a female is her mom and
Yeah.
everything, especially or her grandmama or her aunt, whoever it is. That's the first teacher. So you got to look at the emotions that were thrown on her, and that's they're not taught on that
But
logical level, but it comes later on.
I'm gonna
But
ask
you
you
know
guys
what?
a question. Go ahead.
Okay, let me say this, and then I want you to ask this question.
Mhm.
On both ends, a lot
Mhm.
of it is taught behavior because we see somebody else um, getting mad at her boyfriend, whether it's
Mhm.
our sister or our cousin or our aunt, or they fussing at the family cookout, or they
Mhm.
Mhm.
fussing at this. We see that behavior. The same with
Mhm.
men. A lot of men that are violent towards their women have either seen their mom their
Yep.
sister, or they grew up in a house where they fight each other a whole lot, and that's what they
Mhm.
do. Oh, you somebody touched my brother? Oh no, we about to go down. And that
Mhm.
same thing happens in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because
Yeah.
you're not, if everybody was just like that, we would hear more cases in the Oriental family, in Indian
Yes.
family. We don't hear about them going to jail for domestic violence. Not saying it
But you
don't
know why?
happen.
But you know why? Their women are way more submissive than American women.
That's one. And the other part is what he just said. Actually, the first thing he said, then what you said afterwards, Ursh. Yeah, you don't hear much about it, usually because they keep that stuff, behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
And
right,
then the other thing is like you said, a lot of those women are submissive to a point, especially in the West Asia, what people call the Middle East is actually
right,
West Asia. Those guys, that's their culture and everything.
right.
The woman is submissive. She knows her part. She knows what she's supposed to do. Uh, if she steps out of line, like in Saudi Arabia or Morocco or some of those places, if I give you an example, I have a cousin. He's married to a Moroccan woman. He'd been married to her since the late '80s. And when I got married when I had gotten married, they came to my wedding, and I went out to shake her hand. You know, it's family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she pulled her hand back like, and he looked at me and says, "See, that's that. The custom is this. She's not supposed to touch another man and everything. So she's doing what she's supposed to do and everything." I felt a little bad, but then I had an uncle. We had a mutual uncle. He pulled me to the side later and said, "Hey, don't feel bad. The same thing happened to me. I went to shake her hand, and she was all back." So of course, when I started going to the Middle East, well, what we call the Middle East, I started seeing that and everything. It's about culture, and it's about how they do things. So
Now, I
Yeah,
don't I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody's culture because we all have different cultures.
yes.
Right? Um, I have no problem being submissive.
Hmm.
I do have a problem being submissive to someone who's not assertive, who is not, he's that can't lead. Now, if you want me to be submissive, and I'm going to be submissive to you, if we are married, and
Hmm.
we're in a relationship, but it can't be wishy-washy. You can't want me to be submissive one minute and then taking your role the next minute.
Hmm.
That doesn't work for me. If you want me to be domesticated, you want me to cook and clean, take care of the kids, I do that on a daily basis.
right,
Hmm.
And if you want, and I was the wife that when my husband came home from work, dinner was already started. Why? Like you said, because I was taught every
right,
every
right.
evening, my mom timed it to where dinner was done when my
Hmm.
dad's car pulled in the driveway.
Hmm.
And
Right.
at that point in time, we started setting the table. We sat down as a family and ate dinner.
Yes,
You know,
that's how
and
it should be.
you know,
But I think that's just the sometimes we got to look at the choices that we made, and then that
Yeah.
person just wasn't the right person for what we were trying to do.
exactly.
That happens. Because you can learn all the right traits and do all the right things,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but then if that person isn't willing to do that, it's not going to ever work.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
just not going to work. So and it's almost like a contradiction when you say that I can be submissive, but you got to be assertive. Some people be like that same assertiveness, not so much in your case, but in some cases, that man being assertive or he trying to be controlling.
Hmm.
Some people look at it that way. He's trying to say, look, well, what we're going to do, we're going to take care of this bill, that bill, and we're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. Some women love that he's being that directional.
Mm-hmm.
But some other women be like, now look, now he trying to tell me what to do, how to do, what to move.
No, but that's
I'm not
just
saying
women who
you.
want
I'm not
to
saying you,
have
but
something to be mad about.
so what now?
Yeah.
That's a woman that just want to have something to argue about.
Right, right,
Because if you
And,
can't,
and people lie. And you got to add that part too. People lie. If you have a plan before you even get married and you have a discussion, which is what's supposed to take place, is there's supposed to be a discussion. on what the other wants, and then you make that decision from there. Some will actually. My ex-wife lied. We had a discussion prior to even getting engaged. When we got engaged, we talked about it. Okay, we had a plan. Of course, after the marriage, all right, she started doing what she wanted to do. She started acting the way she wanted to act. She wanted to be. She didn't want to follow the plan anymore and everything, and it started causing issues. Little stuff like I don't want to have kids until I turn 30 or at least finish my college education or get some rank.
Mhm.
And while I'm in the military, you've been in the military longer than I have. You should have been done had your degree by now. But let's do this. I don't want to live in the country. I don't want to live on a picket fence. I want to, live on base or whatever. Same thing with that. Or here, we got a kid now. I don't think that our little girl should have her ears pierced until she is at least 12 or 13 years old and can make that decision for herself. But then you come home one day and you find your little 1 year old or barely 1 year old with a pierced ear. Why? Well, it's my child. It's
Now,
stuff like
I will say this: if that's a conversation that you guys had beforehand, then yeah, you should stick to it.
that's what I'm
But if
saying.
that's
The
not a
importance.
Now,
conversation,
This is
right.
the
But let me ask.
importance of talking and discussing these things, prior, and even having these discussions with your children at a very young age, so that as they get older, it won't be a shock to them. They won't be sent out into the world not knowing what they should have known before they even reach the age of 12.
so saying that, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Two people, single people who have kids by someone else, they meet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say, for instance, let me use myself as an example. I have my own home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I live here with my daughter and my son occasionally when he come home. And if I meet someone and we start a relationship and we decide, oh, you know what? He proposes, we want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
One, I would never let a man move in with me. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should move into my house. If anything, I should move into your house. Now, if I have the nicer home, I would probably want to stay at my home. I just don't think a man, and you give me you guys' opinion. I don't think a man would be comfortable moving into a woman's house. I don't think men would be that comfortable. Like,
Well,
would they truly be able to make it their home?
here's the question: will you relinquish the reins and let him make it his home?
Yeah,
Because you keep saying it's my home. Because
yeah,
now, if you're married, it's y'all home now.
of course.
Right.
If
Right.
we're married, then everything in here now belongs to us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I have no issue relinquishing the control to where he can now make decisions about the house.
As long as he's making good decisions.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a gray area, because what I might think is a good decision, he might not think is a good decision. So, I mean, that's
But
just
can he still make that decision? See, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's
If he makes a decision about, okay, well, just to say
so let's say
we
let's
want
just say
to
his
go ahead.
let's say his decision is, okay, we've got this house. It's a nice house. Well, babe, I really think that let's sell this house and get something smaller.
And what is smaller?
See, but I mean, as the man, he decided I'm just playing devil's advocate. The reason why I'm saying
Yeah.
that is because, you know, those decisions need to be made together.
Well,
The
the
I'm
thing
just
is,
saying, if a man move into your house, I mean, if a man decides you guys move in together, I get that. because it's a very funny line.
I wouldn't. Me personally, I hear what y'all saying, but me personally, I wouldn't move into a woman's house.
Right.
I had made that decision years ago after I moved out of my egg donor's house. I was not moving into another woman's house again.
But you did it the first time.
Yeah, that's my egg donor. Um,
Right, right,
and that was because, well, I was born from her. I had no choice. So
right, right.
at the point in time,
Okay.
but after
Oh,
that,
oh, oh, oh.
after that, I'd never, I would never moved into a another woman's home again and
Right.
everything because there's so many things that that just me personally makes me sick. For example,
Right.
it's her place. Number one, it's her place. She has the right and to do whatever she wants to with her place. I have no right to come in there and change what she likes, her girly stuff, her girly bathroom, her candles or whatever the case may be. I have no right to change that. And I don't plan to and don't want to. But another part that throws me off is, say, for example, she used to be married. Okay.
Oh yeah,
And
we
she's
changed it.
still, yeah, and she still has her ex-husband's last name.
Right.
And I move in. Okay, I'm living in a house whose last name is to the guy that she used to be with. Okay. I don't like that. And the reason I don't like that, I had to tell my ex-wife's boyfriend years ago because he wanted to get on the phone and ask me questions as to why am I asking my daughter about him. Well, for starters, you're living in the home of my ex-wife and my daughter. Therefore, I want to know who and what you are from my daughter's lips. I didn't ask her mom because I don't give two rats butts about her. I care about my daughter. So I asked my daughter about it because her information is what I want. So
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna ask
You should
her.
feel
I says
comfortable.
you should want. I told him I said you should want to find out who's in your home with your five kids. You should be asking the same question. But more importantly, if you feel that this is bad, then marry my ex-wife. Give her your last name. Because I told him, I said, it's really got to suck for you to answer the phone at that house and say Guillaume Residence, because that's my last name. That's
Right.
everything that's Guillaume. You have to look at the mail. My name is on that stuff. So it's really got to suck for you, and it really got to make you mad. And I can understand your stress. So no, I wouldn't live in a house that belonged to a woman. I'll go,
Right.
I'll stay for a day or two or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah,
but
I
moving
get it.
in, not gonna happen. I will have
Right.
my own place.
Right.
And if the yin ever met the yang and she wanted to come live with me and we both feel we both are in mutual agreement that it's okay to move in together, then yeah, she would have to come stay with me and everything. But I would never move into another woman's home. That's just not me.
Well, back to what Houston said earlier. If he wanted to sell my house. Now, the thing about the home that I bought, right? Me and James did buy this house,
Right.
right? And the reason was because the kids would always have a place to come home to.
Right.
Now, I said if I ever sold my house,
Mhm.
that I would, move back to Greenville. Okay. And the more I think about it, I'm like, I would much rather keep the house even if we move in and get with him, if I move in with him, okay. And I'm not going to do any of that while my daughter is still teenager. She
Right.
needs to be going to college.
Right.
But I just don't see selling something that I put all my hard-earned money into.
But that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, it's
I
like
agree.
As a female,
move in somewhere else. Let's go move in somewhere else.
right.
And then I would tell the kids, hey, we're going to keep this house. So you guys always have somewhere to stay. It's always be, even if I decide to rent it out or whatever, it would still be mine.
Mm-hmm.
But see, and I get that, and I get that. But as the husband, if he decides he wants to make that, see, that's where things get tricky. See what I'm saying? That's where things get tricky because see, some men be like, no, I'm not doing that. Because if I'm going to be the man of the house and make the decisions, I want to agree with you on that. Or better yet, hey, times are getting tough out here. We can sell that house and put that $185,000-$200,000 into the bank so we can live comfortably. You know, on this end.
But
if he's looking at it from a different standpoint. You're looking at it as I want a place for my kids to come home to.
But the problem with that is when I sell this home and put the money in the bank for us, the reason I bought the home, where my kids going to fit into. Because once I sell it and we have the money together, then that money is now, and I don't want to, I'm not being petty, but that money is now our money, which means if you have kids, they get access to it. My kids are getting the short end of the stick.
But see, that's the whole catch there. That's the whole catch there. That's what makes relationships so interesting.
Families are very hard.
Right.
I've been a part of a blended family before, but we both started out with nothing.
Right.
You know, and so what we have is for the kids that grew up here.
Look, I get it. That's why I was playing devil's advocate, because there's a lot of relationships that have to look at that. There's a lot of relationships that's got to look at that. If a lady's out here and she's 40, 45 years old, she's been working her job for 30 years, and she's got her 401k set up, and she's got herself together. And then there's a man over here that he's got himself set up and together, but they want to come together. They're supposed to be live happily ever after together. But if one said, well, wait now, I want this house to be for my daughter and my son, now there might be some conflicts. And they need to have those conversations, because they might realize, well, you know what, we might just be domestic partners and not get married, because I really don't want nobody else, but I want what I have over here for my family, and you want what you have over here for your family, unless we have it written up in a will saying that and we agree to it. But
and
just meet somebody else.
They don't want to have those difficult conversations.
Right.
Because like right now, and I use myself as example a lot. Me and James both, we have kids together, and he has kids from a previous marriage. Okay.
Right.
Everything that belongs to him, that's his, needs to be split up between all of his kids.
Right.
Right. Everything that personally belongs to me should be split up between my two kids. And the reason I say that is because he has two sets of kids by two different people.
But look, I get it. But that's your circumstance, and I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have all those dynamics. And see, and then you got to look at the man that you're dealing with, that you met, that you enjoyed. Now he has to look at all of this before he decides if he wants to get roped into any of that.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it different. And that's what makes it difficult for people as we get older people to really connect.
Yeah.
Because we all got our own stuff. Back in the day, women didn't have all this stuff. You know, they were hoping to find a great guy that he had a good job, and they would take care of her, and then everything worked out fine. But now that we've got a family here, a family there, half a family here, it makes it very difficult to come together. And that's why I think so many families, they just don't get together anymore. They can't.
I mean, it's too much toxicity. So I just think that it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I think people tend to get offended when you break things down legally that way.
Right.
Until they actually have kids of their own.
And that's why it's difficult to be with someone that doesn't have kids or only got one. They can't see the dynamics of what you're talking about.
So I just think that, and I'm like, and the reason is not saying that I didn't leave anything to my stepkids, because I've been in their lives since they were small.
Right.
But the majority of the things that I have are going to go to my kids, because they have a mother her stuff is going to go to her kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't want my things to be split up between everybody and my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's not fair.
I
So I
got it.
have
We're
to
gonna have
figure
to
out.
hold on to this conversation. We're gonna have to hold
Yep.
on to this one
Yep.
and
It's
make
a
sure we
hard
remember
one.
the title of this and add to it.
Yes, definitely.
And read the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Read it,
So
live
make
it,
sure you
learn it.
put that in our chat so I can go ahead and look at it and download it tonight.
I'm gonna go
All right.
do an audio book.
All
No
right.
doubt.
Hey, welcome to
What's
Keep.
going on? What's going on?
What's going on?
We got a new look going on. How y'all
What's
doing
happening
tonight?
with you?
Doing
Doing
all
pretty
right.
good.
How y'all doing?
Doing all
I
right.
mean, this is a new format.